Hi, I travel all over the galaxy, and every once in a while it's great to relax and watch my favorite show, ENDGAME.
What about Gunter's universe?
Get off my ship!
But I have a family.
Turians have no taste.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ENDGAME with your hosts, Poplopo, Nomono, and Psych!
That was amazing.
So if you're a super tall avatar, you're welcome here, but just back up a tiny bit. So you're scaring me. So we're going to be talking about eye tracking and privacy. But before we get to that, like anything new, any updates or anything else going on that's not thematic that we should talk about this week?
Oh, just my general emotional state.
Are you feeling better?
Actually, kind of. I try to get myself back up to where I was and try to think, well, you know what? The future belongs to those who fight for it, and the people who don't believe in the future, they can just go hide in their holes, and those of us who care can, actually work towards a bigger future. But then I just don't see that happening in the world, or I'm just afraid that there's not enough people who feel that way, and so.
Don't you feel now more than ever, there is an energy of, we need to fight back amongst the people, right?
I often feel that way, but then I just don't see that in the real world. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too saturated with political news to even see if there's anything else going on.
I think you have to remember that we're fighting a Goliath, and the Goliath is in charge of what we see in the media. It's hard to have an accurate account of what's actually going on when we're sort of subject to that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Can anyone volunteer some uplifting news, anything that might cheer us up?
Please, something.
Crickets.
The weather is beautiful.
It's not here today, so that doesn't really help me.
I can't. Oh, I can say something that might help.
Good.
And stuff. So there is a lot of bad stuff happening in the world right now, like global warming and stuff, but I have this really amazing science teacher, and she is teaching me and a whole bunch of the other youth of my school a whole bunch of stuff that we can do, and it makes me feel a little depressed at first, but then I start feeling a lot better about everything because she's saying all the things that we can do, and that how, even though there are so many scientists right now who are coming up with timetables of how long the world has to survive, which is about 15 years now, apparently. But she is saying that it's completely possible for us to change the way we are living, to create a new world where we will be able to stop global warming, where we'll be able to change everything, and we'll be able to create a better place to live in.
All right, well, that's very heartening. Thank you, Hello Humanoid. Appreciate that.
It feels like there's a lot of potential, right? Like if we could get past this little bumpy road, there's so much exciting stuff around the corner, man. It's just we gotta buckle up and just get ready.
Either the world's going to go to shit or it's not, but it's very unlikely that you as one individual are going to change the course of what's going to be an outcome. So the thing that you have most control over is actually how you feel on the way. The ride's already going where it's going, but it's just and also being a good person and trying to help others, and all of those things are important to try to make an impact. You can live it feeling this doom, or I think if we all try our best to help each other, then we've given it our best shot and we see where our society goes, kind of thing.
It's what I'm working on.
Yeah, I'm working on that. It's hard, though.
Chair.
We don't serve minors here. I don't got no chocolate milk.
Yeah, Lousy fired me a couple weeks ago. I got a wife and kids, and now I gotta play this stupid piano in the Wild West.
Yeah, I know that boy, Lousy. Yeah, he done used to be a cowboy. Now he done give it up. I used to look up to him. Used to call him my little deputy, but now he's just prancing around as something or another. I don't even know what he is no more. It gets me riled, I tell you. Got me hooper and hollering sometimes. I don't like it. like it, I tell you. I don't like it. I don't like it, I tell you. I tell you, he done give it up. He done give it up. I used to look up to that boy. My little deputy lousy. He ain't no boy no more.
You two, 12 paces.
So what do you think about Lousy?
Well, I never personally had a problem with him.
Draw!
I like that. So come back.
Marco.
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 No.
Marco. Marco.
Marco.
Yeah, lousy. He's all right, I guess. I mean, he feeds the anime girls at the hub. Food scraps and whatnot. There's not a lot of, work to go around for anime girls. I mean,
Marco.
supply and demand and all that.
Hey guys, over here.
There he is. Get him.
There he is.
Come and get it.
So we're going to hear from Lau this week, and he's going to tell us how he thinks it's all going to go to shit, or possibly maybe a positive view of the future. I don't know.
I think actually climate change was one of the things I was going to bring up. So for anybody who's concerned about it, it has seemed, I think recently, we have this push of anti-science, anti-intellectualism, anti-education. Like it seems like we're pushing back against, doing anything. But then you kind of take a look at, I don't know if anybody saw this, but if you follow the French elections, they just had a new president elected over there. And he actually filmed a video recently where he literally got on the video and said, hey, American scientists, if you're researching global warming and your funding gets cut, come to France and we will fund you fully.
We want innovative people. We want people working on climate change, energy, renewables, and new technologies.
So where I feel it's going, and obviously I'm more of an optimist than a pessimist, and I kind of have to be because I have a 2-year-old. So I have to be in the mindset that the world is going to continue because I want it to be there for her. But even with all the doom and gloom and all the bad stuff happening, I think the thing to remember is that we've had these pushes of, anti-science, this stuff has happened before, and we have consistently pushed back. We've seen people pushing back. We've seen huge marches. Like, when was the last time you heard somebody marching for science, right? Because we didn't really have to, But now it's like, yeah, everybody's like, yeah, we should listen to science. And that's the thing you march about now for some reason. As much as we have people who, maybe are working against the good of humanity, there's a small number of people who can do a great deal of good. The people who made vaccines are probably very small in relation to the number of people who've been helped by vaccines. The people who were involved in developing electricity have had a huge effect on the world. Given the things we've seen advances. Somebody who has HIV, it used to be a death sentence. I heard recently that we've gotten to the point where people with HIV can actually live full lives. We're close to curing cancer. We as a species have just consistently performed exceptionally as far as improving life for others. So I think we'll be fine. I think we will continue, and I don't know where we'll go, but I don't think we're going to end. So
I believe everything you're saying, and it is optimistic, so that does make me feel better. All right, you're great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you guys, let's get into the main topic this week. We're talking about eye tracking, and then let's start there, and then we'll let that lead into privacy later. So what is it that you're excited about? Because I saw something just this week about Toby. What's the new eye tracker that was like? Yeah, there was a new video on YouTube.
Yeah, Toby is like really cool because I tried it at SPVR, and basically you can look around and throw an object and look in the direction that you're throwing it, and it'll be thrown there. Or there's foveated rendering. So there's two eye tracking. People are really excited for the graphics that are going to be able to be produced. You can spend most of the processing power rendering the graphics wherever your eye is looking directly, and then also for tracking and behavioral and understanding behaviors, conveying social nuances and things like that. The only thing is though that it's $10,000, and that's cheap. That's the cheapest it's ever been. $10,000 to integrate the Toby tracking with your headset. So,
is this something that people want in general? Like, are you guys excited about this? Can I get some emojis? I see indifference. Okay, I do see what do you think, Poplopo?
Well, I haven't tried eye tracking, and so it's mostly up to I guess how I'm imagining it. Being behind this avatar, there is some level of sort of just anonymity that I have where no one can really tell where I'm looking, and that's a little more comfortable. Like, I can look in this direction, but nobody over here knows exactly who I'm looking at. I could be looking at Gunter, I could be looking at Nocturne, I could be looking at Hypertectonic, and nobody knows. So it's sort of anonymous, and I like that. But when I'm having a conversation with someone, like if I'm especially if I'm having like a one-on-one conversation with someone, like to have eye contact with them, I think would be a much more intense social experience than just standing in front of someone's avatar. And so I'm kind of interested in that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If someone's wearing sunglasses, there's a lot I can't see about what's going on in there.
Hey, what if you could wear sunglasses to get around the eye tracking, right? I mean, just like people do in real life, you put sunglasses and people can't tell where you're looking. But I do think that advertisers are going to love the eye tracking. Imagine a company like Pepsi, and they have in a room like a new Pepsi design on a can. They want to see how many people are looking at it over other designs. They can test out concepts and get feedback. Especially as VR blows up, right? They get tons of feedback every day. Just by where people are looking.
It's like I'll get ads in Spotify or YouTube or whatever. And most of the time I just find simple ways of getting around them, right? I just put my phone down, I don't look at it, turn the volume off, skip it, whatever. And in a lot of those cases, there's no way for the advertiser to know what I'm actually doing, right? But now if you're literally tracking my eyes and you know for how long I look at your advertisement exactly and what part of it I look at, like that is a huge jump in marketing, isn't it? Like that's going to be so powerful.
Think about like if you walk into a room and you're looking at the vodka bottles in the room more than the beer cans, and so all these products could be bidding for your attention, and based on your eye tracking, then Google can decide what advertisement they're going to present to you, and they can infer so much about your emotional state that they're probably going to be really accurate in choosing what's going to be presented to you and like embedded. Think about like Netflix has so much advertising embedded into it, like Grace and Frankie, which is a great show. I liked it, but it has pharmaceutical advertising all over it. They're like, oh, take an Ambien or like take a Tylenol PM. Like whoever says take a Tylenol, I don't know. Like it's clearly, so the embedded advertising stuff I think is going to be, this is also sponsored by Tylenol PM, by the way, this whole show. So just to let you guys know.
You extrapolate this to facial tracking, right? It wouldn't just be your eyes, but imagine your whole face, how nuanced your whole face is.
They actually have a prototype camera that you can attach to the bottom of your Vive that takes a real-time look at your mouth and will make your virtual mouth match your physical mouth.
As we move towards these technologies, like there's absolutely no question at all that is going to be recorded, that is going to be used to collect information about you. Like we're to the point, like just in terms of what we can do with technology, that's not even a question anymore. Like that's absolutely going to happen, and there's no question about it.
Why is that a certainty? Like, why have we given up our power to all of these? Like, we don't like these companies. I don't look up at Pepsi and go like, well, I love Pepsi or I love Facebook. Like, I react negatively to these. Why do I accept them?
Well, but here's the thing. What power do you have?
Society at large is accepted.
If you want to be in VR, what negotiating power do you have? What power are you giving up?
User license agreements. It's all in there.
Ever since we've moved to basically a software economy where no one wants to pay a price to purchase a software. So it has led software developers to the only way they can support themselves is finding ways to sell their users as a product. And that's almost all software nowadays because people just aren't willing to put money down to purchase software outright.
On the foveated rendering specifically, the other thing I just want to bring up is that the other benefit we get in addition to the performance increase is it also allows you to do focus. In real life, when you look at something close up, the distance is blurry. And when you look at something in the distance, close up is blurry. We can't do that right now because we don't have the eye tracking to determine how to do it. But that's another thing that eye tracking will give us that will make VR more immersive and realistic. Is we'll get that multiple levels of focus based on what you're looking at.
We want to be fully immersed. I want to immerse it. I want to get trackers on my legs. I want to get like blood pressure monitors. I'll expose that. You'll see my heart beating somehow. I want everything but it's all going to be could be tracked, and that's the thing. I think it's a could be, but does it have to be? I'll be in. Why not?
That's another good point too, Gunter, about like blood pressure and stuff. Like we're also, like the National Institutes of Health recently had like a conference about wearable devices, and they're saying that like they think that everything is going to converge into body-worn sensors. So it's not just going to be in VR and our eyes being tracked, but it's going to be augmented reality in real life being tracked, and like all those kinds of things.
My microphone over to the Vive.
Yeah, but like blood sugar and all those other kind of things are all going to be part of data that's available about us. So it's interesting.
So, okay, I have a
worse.
philosophical question. When it comes to recording our movements and tracking our activity and recording what we're doing, if I buy a video camera and I turn it on myself and I make a video, I record my own movements, I record my voice, it doesn't matter who the manufacturer of that camera is. It doesn't matter who the manufacturer of the film is. I still own the copyright to that recording of my own activity. What is the difference between that sort of situation and my movements being recorded in virtual reality? Like, obviously there's a commercial difference, but what's the philosophical, ethical difference there?
If you were using your Vive and your eye tracking to do motion capture on your own computer, it would be yours. But the difference is you're using online servers to transmit over. So if you post on YouTube, you no longer own that video. If you're using someone else's service to host it, that's where you're giving up the rights to it.
Well, that's not entirely true. You can retain your copyright on YouTube.
You're right.
I mean,
does the law really matter over the practicality?
It doesn't, but if we're going to be participating in this world, I'm interested in the questions behind the law, because presumably, ideally, we should be making laws based on ethics.
Ultimately, I think what it is that Congress, mostly when it comes to those types of laws, it's the minority of people that are actually worried about the implications of it. So the laws are basically written by special interests. So whoever has the most money, which is the corporations, basically are writing the copyright laws. Ultimately, that's what's shaping the laws, because not enough people are outraged at the amount of rights we are giving corporations.
But I feel like the structure of our society still is such that in its ideal form, we should be able to basically present an argument and have it listened to. If I come to you and I say, now I feel that I should own at least partial copyright of the record of my own behavior, I want to know what arguments there are against that. Like, I should at least own part of it, is what I'm saying.
That's like this argument that privacy is actually dead. So my brother actually works in civil rights and technology, and he was talking to me years ago about this idea that privacy is gone. Like, it's instead of arguing for privacy and saying that this data shouldn't be collected, it's actually getting towards exactly what you just said, which is that, okay, this data is collected, but let's have us be able to access all of the data. Like, think about the data that the NSA, for example, has on basically everyone. Why don't we have a copy of that data set? If I was going to see a therapist, I'd be like, okay, well, if this is going to help me, or a medical professional, that's already starting to happen, where like you share your health data with your medical professional and physical health too. And yeah, so I think we are getting to that point where we will have more control over our own data eventually.
I really hope so. There's a question, do we have a right to privacy, and why do we have a right to privacy? But intellectual property being what it is, I definitely feel like I have the right to own my own behavior. Like, the sequence of behaviors, I feel like that belongs to me. Not and if someone else records, if I don't know, yeah. I hope that will at least come up in the discussion, and it won't just be, the person who has the money makes the rules and that's the end of the discussion. I don't know.
Ultimately, a company would say, if you want to own your movement, don't use my product, and then you can own your movement. And if you want to use my product, you have to sign your user agreement.
But that's exploitation.
Not to freak anyone out, but like the Oculus has infrared cameras that are basically like webcams. I can see into your living room and stuff like that. And they're also, you're consenting to their app and the kind of permissions that you're giving, and it's always connected to, it's like transmitting data and all that. It's the same thing with Windows 10 also, like in terms of like collecting data and stuff. But like, if you think about the Vive, I think the Vive is less oriented towards that, and that's the motives of the company.
Well, I mean, Yeah, maybe that's true, but the Vive was where Ghostline kind of came to light. And
That's
was
true.
Like,
It's going to happen either way. Yeah.
It's like that problem of copyright, the idea of identity, and they're having issues in real life with it, with refugees that leave the state. So the state owns your identity right now, your social security card, your driver's license. If you don't have those things, who are you? And when you go to another country and you don't have an identity there, who are you exactly? And so refugees, who are they? So, and we're talking about one society and a different society. These rules would be different. So something in the 21st century, because now we have identities online and in our metaverses soon, we're going to need some sorts of framework, and hopefully it's distributed and it's user centric. And I say yes, I consent to everything, and it's minimalism is important. Like there should not be access to my data unless it's really important, and if it is, it's really minimal.
I just want to be given the choice and also understand what's actually happening, right? So you just brought up Ghostline, or do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Ghostline was the software used in a demo called Waltz of the Wizard. Maybe some of you guys have played that. It's a demo that's available on Steam for the Vive and the Oculus. Basically, there's this software that was integrated called Ghostline that recorded the behaviors of players at various key points throughout the game, just to see what their behavior was, to see what the users did. The company who made the game, they gathered that information so they could see how their game was being played and what was being done and the actions that were being taken. So, did you shoot the bad guy with the bow and arrow? Or I don't really remember what the demo's like, but it came to the press and they wrote an article about it, and then people freaked out and they were like, well, we didn't know we were being recorded. This is unfair. But of course they'd agreed to it when they signed the end user license agreement. It was in there, buried in the text somewhere, that their behavior could be recorded, but nobody's reading it,
No one has any time to read the EULA for everything that you do. Otherwise you would never do anything. You would just be reading, user agreements. And so I don't know what that means. If eventually there's a push or there's some way to make them in natural language or some way to make them understandable, do you side with them that it's okay to sneak that into the user agreement? Or do you feel somehow wronged if you didn't, if you're like, well, I guess you told me technically, but I didn't really realize what you were doing?
I think there's like legal complications with taking legal language and translating it to, user-friendly verbiage. Like I think that's a legal undertaking, and so there's money involved in that, and there's time involved in that. So I know that it can be done, and I'm pretty sure most of these companies just have no motivation to do it.
In the app that I made, like with the Psych VR app, like it says right there, it's like, we are collecting your data, like we're collecting your behaviors, we're tracking your nonverbal. Yes, exactly. Good. But it was written, and it's interesting because I had to make that document by the Institutional Review Board, which forces you to basically, and it's a good thing, it's like requires you to have a very clear document that the person reads and understands, and it is a legal document too in some ways about like consent and things like that.
They mandate that you do that is for medical reasons, or what is that?
It's for risks. It's human subjects research. So basically, if you're putting people into a research paradigm, there has to be some kind of approval. Like the Milgram experiment where you're shocking someone else and the person's screaming and it's putting someone under duress and things like that. Like you want to actually make sure that there's justification for what you're doing and that there's benefits and that people are aware. And that's actually, hopefully, there's the whole data. We talk about eye tracking and all this kind of stuff, and like hopefully we're going to create open source scripts to make sense of those 3D coordinates, because Waltz of the Wizard, all they're collecting of the X, Y, and Z coordinates of your two hands, the pitch, yaw, and roll of your head, like the same data that we're collecting, they're collecting. And so the question is, are these private companies going to be learning what that data is, or can all of us just get a copy of the XYZ coordinates and then, submit it to open source software and kind of see how are we behaving? And
so actually going back into that Waltz and Wizards, I didn't know that. This is actually my first time actually hearing about, oh yeah, they were tracking you. So I would say I felt the same as what those people were saying. I was like, wait, what? I don't remember any of that. Why would you be tracking, what I'm doing in this game? And I've shared with friends. So does that mean that they're tracked? If you're sharing headsets with your friends, are they on the internet now? Anything. Are they making you look bad? Also, for your app, were you recording audio?
No, but we really wanted to. But if we were, we would have said that we were.
When I was taking that test, man, it was frustrating. And like when those words are flashing and I have to remember what the fucking word is, I'm like, fuck, shit. I can't, I'm, just making a fool out of myself and imagining that you're sitting somewhere watching all this information.
That's interesting. I guess I could look at you have gaze tracking, so I could look at how often does the person look away from the stimulus, and
look away in like just frustration. They're just throwing their arms around.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, X, Y. Oh, there's variance of the Y coordinate. Like definitely anger right there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of glad that he touched on the whole free program and the tracking thing. I heard it once said that if what you're using is free, you are the product.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Just what are they tracking about me? Is this information that I'm willing to share with people? What's the benefits of using the program? What's the benefits of not using the program? And I usually tend to weigh things like that.
It's a good thing to do.
Are you on what's the name of the Facebook VR thing?
Yeah.
Has anybody used that?
I'm
not even on Facebook.
I've used it a couple times. Well, okay,
They're
here's the
tracking
thing. That's entirely Facebook's model is that the users are the product.
But I guess when we were talking about like what would motivate us to choose, to avoid certain products, right? If you put Facebook Spaces in front of me and then VRchat, and you actually communicated to me what the differences were, you're like, well, everything you do is going to be tracked in here. And I don't actually know what's being tracked in VRchat, but like, let's just pretend that it's less. Then I'm going to choose as the user, I'm going to go like, oh, I have a choice. I'm going to go over here where I have more privacy, right? And so that's a way for, a VRchat type company overtakes a huge corporation like Facebook just by like offering something similar, but letting it be private.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, real quick on the Waltz of the Wizard thing. Now, to be fair, not to defend them, but a lot of video games will ask you, and again, I don't know how they presented it to you in the EULA, but a lot of video games have you, they say, oh, hey, can we track your movements for bug tracking purposes? And as a company, they would think, well, it's the same thing as it's a video game. So not thinking that people would be a little more iffy about it because it's VR. Because I'm sure they're not tracking your identity. It's about tracking people's movements to see, how they're interacting with the room.
The 3D coordinates of where you are and how you're moving probably are personally identifiable information. So if they have those,
compared to normal video game stuff.
Yeah, like very soon, Facebook will know if you put on someone else's headset and you're in their space or whatever, or like, you're in, I have a home space and someone's in that or something like that. They're going to know who you are based on your movement. I mean, that's something I'm trying to prove through the data, but like.
Really the comment I wanted to make though was it's whenever we're concerned about our privacy, and I know we're concerned about companies getting our data, but ultimately advertising to us things that they think we like isn't that nefarious. Is it ultimately that we're worried about governments getting that information and using that information for like a credit type score and stuff like that? Is more denying people services due to information?
Facebook's manipulating you too, through the information that they present on your newsfeed and things like that. Like they're not just advertising like product. The people think of this harmless, oh, I looked up something on Google and now it's on my Facebook page, or those kinds of things. But like people, they present news stories and they present information in the environment.
Do you all know about Tencent in China with the citizen score? It's the company that owns League of Legends, actually. They're tracking people's data in China and actually creating like a credit score, but it's a citizen score that's used by the actual Chinese government to track how good of a citizen people are being. And they were actually ultimately going to use it to give people advantages and disadvantages. And it's even tied to like, if you're friends with somebody who has a low citizenship score, your score goes down.
Yeah,
there was a Black Mirror episode about that.
Tencent owns many across China. They own many different services. So,
it's like what books you buy, all those kinds. It's like what books you buy, your loan. It's basically it's a deviation from a credit score. And actually, Facebook was also looking at using Facebook as a way to validate yourself. You want to get a credit check, and then they would use that information to determine your score. And so that's all been looked at for the U.S.
I want to add a little bit.
We're not going to be okay. We're not.
Facebook is already used to create a citizen score in secret.
Exactly. That is so true. That exists. That score, I guarantee you that there's scores for each of us by the NSA. Like,
should we all leave Facebook?
I just got my score.
Are you okay, Poplopo? It's gonna be okay.
No, I'm not okay.
Couldn't look like that.
I don't know, but see, that's the thing. I can't leave Facebook because I love seeing my friends' stories and like seeing their pictures of their kids and like seeing what they're paying attention to on the internet. Like that and this are my social life, and it's important to me.
So Cory Doctorow, I was just listening to him because he was talking about his new book, and he was saying we're sort of at peak indifference to privacy and a lot of this stuff, where like this is as bad as it's going to get as far as people not giving a shit, because like they're going to keep going, they're going to keep taking away and tracking us, and we're at a point where people are going to start noticing more and more because these tools are going to get more and more powerful. And so potentially from here, I mean, he thinks like we might be on the verge of like a little bit of an enlightenment, or like people figuring out what's going on in the future. And then we'll be able to react, because you need a reaction en masse, right? Because you can't abandon Facebook, because not all your friends and family will. But if all your friends and family start to also be a little bit like, ooh, Facebook seems kind of spooky, and they all decide to leave, then you can all go together to some new platform that might be
that's the issue.
Something better.
They can use machine learning and try to predict who's going to be leaving Facebook and then show you more stories. Or if you haven't logged in for a while, maybe they'll promote your story more and you'll get more interactions with people. So it's scary, because that critical mass that's needed to like to influence someone, and like I mean that's there's already the CIA was tracking Twitter to try to predict movements. I mean there's Palantir, whatever, that company that like track. I mean, there's a whole industry around tracking and predicting movements like that. So I think that's hard to. How do we kind of get out from under that and lead to a shift in our society and how we're perceiving these kinds of things?
Actually, there's already privacy groups out there that are trying to gain steam in order to push legislation to say, okay, you may take this information from me, but we don't want you tracking our eye movement. So yeah, you can track my XYZ, but don't track my eyes. Different eye positions can denote what place in the brain that your mind's using at any given time. In law enforcement, they always say, oh, if the suspect looks up and to the left, he's usually going to the creative centers of his brain, and oh wait, he's trying to lie to you.
It's not always the case that where you're looking is an indicator of underlying brain processes, but I think like the amount of time you're spending looking at things, I think all those kinds of things you can really infer a lot.
Hopefully, if we do start turning here and more people start to wake up to the fact that this is a real concern, then we'll give to these groups that are actually trying to help. I'm not sure exactly what you were thinking, but like I know EFF is like constantly trying to help. Is it Electronic Frontier Foundation? Is that what that stands for? So like that's some place you can go and you can donate money or time, and like you're a cyber warrior at that point, and you're actually helping push back against some of this stuff. So there are places to go.
I think the big hope is that whenever the privacy concerns become so obvious to a majority of the population that it actually gets picked up, if people can wake up in mass. Like an example similar is gay rights. Democrats and Republicans, they were both against it, but then suddenly they realized that the popular notion, the popular belief of the population suddenly shifted, and that they were in danger of losing their jobs if they didn't support it. And so an issue can pop up like that all of a sudden, and both sides will they'll turn on a dime to do what they think will keep them in office. So basically that's what it's going to take. One story to come out that like, hey, this person was lost their job because they posted on Facebook that they liked corn chips, and corn chips are seen to be a stoner snack, so their citizen score dropped or whatever. And once like one of these stories gets traction, and it could be a sudden change in popular belief, but ultimately that's what it's going to take. It has to get bad enough where everybody cares.
I think that'll only happen for lime flavored corn chips. Those suck. So
I love lime flavored corn chips. It's the best.
Regents, you talked about the whole gay rights thing. The thing is that like the popular opinion changed a lot about that, and that did help a bit, but like I feel like the reason why that was so much easier for that change to happen than like other things that we have a problem with the government is because it doesn't affect corporations negatively at all, basically.
Yeah, that's true.
And so when you get to things like net neutrality or like tracking, that stuff affects people with the money. So that's when I see like people in Congress like doing things even though they're getting a bunch of like information that's saying they shouldn't from citizens. Like net neutrality, who doesn't want it? Yet like I see them creating excuses even though like it's like 100% against it basically in terms of like the general populace.
Right.
It's
So it's more resistant.
revealing, like stuff like that where everyone basically agrees on a stance, but then the elected officials happen to go the other way. Like, I don't know how more transparent you can be that it's like they're not actually reflecting what we want. It's like it's
To be
kind
fair,
of
during the next
insane.
election cycle, I have a feeling that the people for net neutrality, among other things, it's going to take that particular group of people are going to take a big hit, actually.
Oh, you think people are going to wake up a little bit?
Well, I think people are awake. Again, poll numbers don't say everything, but the next election cycle, I think there's going to be a pretty big shift.
In one of our recent counties or somewhere in my state nearby, basically recently implemented this tax. So if you have solar panels on your house, you have to pay extra in taxes, or you have to pay a fee to the power company, basically.
That makes a lot of sense. You're taking away energy from the sun god, and you have to pay to the government. That's crazy. What's going on? How
dare
Right? Like, it doesn't serve anybody. It serves zero interests, like of zero people anywhere, but it puts
It
money in the
serves
pocket
the
of
previous
someone.
power companies, right? Because like you're taking away from them, and they get scared, and okay, how do we slow things down? And that's where I can't, but like you see that kind of stuff all over the place, and it's mind-boggling. I don't understand how anyone's putting up with this.
Air taxes. If like let's say a big oil company is seeing that a lot more people are going electric, then make it a huge tax to put an electric recharging station in a city. That way it becomes more and more difficult, keeping them where they are currently right now.
Gotta fund the status quo. Cannot let the status quo change. I hope we come to some kind of balance between interests.
Me too.
And that one group of interests doesn't just steamroll the other one.
I think that when it comes to privacy, it won't be because of governments or corporations. Even if you sign an agreement, they can easily just ignore it, I think it will ultimately come down to us and like having choices. The current problem in the internet is that we don't have a choice. There's just one internet, and this internet is controlled by ISPs and a couple of governments and a couple of like big corporations that handle the domain name servers and the backbones. So what we really need is like a parallel internet that like a mesh network or something that you can have open hardware and open software that runs it, that we can all like agree to participate in it instead of depending on these other things that are beyond our power, because otherwise it'll just lead to more and more abuse.
Is there any evidence that we're moving in that direction? Like, is stuff like that happening? Because they have mesh networks in different parts of the world, right?
Yeah, in Cuba.
There are, and I think like if you look at the darknet and Tor and that kind of stuff, it's a movement towards that, or open source software, but it's just like fragmented aspects. It's not a complete system yet. There is something with the cryptocurrencies. Some people are trying to build like this whole like internet protocol built on the blockchain, so it's all
I've heard
encrypted.
about that, yeah.
But it's in early days.
Well, I want to kind of lift the mood a bit and also keep a thread that's been going for the last, this will be the third week. When it comes to privacy and tracking, what about teledildonics? Who's going to buy into that if they're being tracked?
You have to go.
Speaking of arm tracking, by the way.
Just one last thing, and it goes into the net neutrality thing, and it dovetails nicely from that. But I think, and I hate to keep spewing one-liners here, but vote with your wallet. If you want to stop corporations from doing something, either don't participate in their service or don't pay them money, and eventually they'll go away or find a new avenue.
Yeah, that's why I think we have to delete Facebook.
I agree. Delete Facebook.
I actually haven't
VRchat
used Facebook but my school is requiring to do it for a roommate. So like this is my first time really venturing into it. I don't know. It's like I think it's called Room Sync. I haven't really looked into it, but that's like I had to create a Facebook account. I had one like it was called John Smith. You know, I just needed it to get into like giveaways and stuff. I didn't really want to use Facebook. Yeah. But then when like my college was like, oh, you have to use this for Room Sync. I'm like, oh, so I renamed myself to my actual name. It's my first time venturing to Facebook, so it's the opposite for me now.
That sounds like the type of thing that you can bring up to your, especially with the public college, that you could fight that particular issue. Like, that's a good place to do it is at a college, actually, because you'll probably find a lot of support for people that are against using it. I mean, that's what colleges are for, smoking weed and making change, right?
Yeah, I should have gone to Regency's college.
Not particularly in that order, but you get the point.
So we're going to vote with our dollar, with our where we decide to spend our time, what services we use. I think a big thing, like we're talking about having a big movement en masse, and that so look, dude, we got, there's like dozens of people that watch this show. So we've done our part, right? We've informed like 40 people. What else can we do? How do we get the message out there? Like, I don't want to spam Facebook, like yelling about privacy, but how do we
probably reduce your posts anyway?
Yeah, they will. So what do we actually do? Like, what's a realistic, how do we affect the conversation?
We just get educated and share that more here, and then everybody share that, right? Kent Bai has some great stuff about piracy on his channel and surveillance. This is a very hot topic actually right now in the VR scene. So,
Gunter, that's such a good point. And like even hearing people's discussion today, I've been very, I don't know, it's actually kind of, I feel some hope. Like people are on the same page in a way that they weren't before. And someone mentioned this before, that people are marching for science and things like that. Was the one good thing that I saw happening, like, before the election or whatever. I was like, well, after the election happened, I was thinking like, well, the only silver lining, I think, or whatever, not to get political, but like, is movements or counter movements are going to start. And like, this generation, like the new generation, has never marched in the streets for anything, but now all of a sudden there's all this stuff. So I think there is an awakening happening. I think it is exciting, and I think education, I think it does come back to that idea of like educate, discuss. Like we're having a discussion here, like everyone here should go talk to one other person after this, and like talk to someone about it, and just bring it up in conversation and try to. Yeah, exactly. I think
So there is this great movement, and people are. There's a science march, but like I think people overstep in a lot of ways where it becomes purely virtue signaling or something, where like they want to be on the right side of things. So they become very loud and obnoxious, which sort of gives ammunition to the wrong side. And so like, we all should work together to have the conversation, but have it, as
a civilized debate.
Yeah. Which is not something we're used to in America, at least, but we'll try.
Yeah.
You can't just tell people, okay, here's what it is. You can't just educate them, and you can't just say, okay, now go share it. You have to do it in the right way, factual enough that people understand it to the point of they go, oh, that light bulb appears above their head, and they go, oh, I get it now. I mean, you can't just spit facts. You have to lead into them almost.
There are social engineering techniques for this, and it's pretty much proven that people they don't like being told things, but if they're told enough information that they're basically they come to their own conclusion about it, that's when the light bulb clicks on, and that's when the idea belongs to them, when it's something that they can take ownership of. So if you just spew like facts at them and tell them this is how it is, then that will have a certain effect. But then if you say, okay, here's some facts and here's some other facts, and maybe ask them questions, how do these things fit together, then they'll come to conclusions on their own. And there's a few different ways to do that. But if you're into social engineering at all, like there's a few different ways you can kind of try to affect that change.
Maybe we should have a course. Maybe you can teach us how to like manipulate everybody.
On human manipulation.
I did put together a PowerPoint on it once, actually.
Oh, let's do that.
Oh, perfect.
All right, I'm looking forward to that.
Manipulation.
Who do you think's really in control? Is it Double Goose, or like who's in control of the room?
Yeah, he's too quiet over there, pulling the puppet strings.
Is there anything you guys want to say at the conclusion here?
I don't know. I'm ready to be done so I can finish the panic attack that I started.
Oh, damn it. All right.
You'll be okay.
I'll be okay eventually.
Hey, at least you got VR.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gunter.
I think that's like 90% of the issue.
So, Poplopo,
Just the
should we all just
threat.
give you a
Just
hug?
the
Should this
threat
be
of
the
being
ending?
teleported to the back. Did the job.
Group hug.
But spread enough that we can tell what's happening. It's not just a mush of bodies.
Thanks, everyone.
Make this better.
Wait, is the camera still on your arms? Goodbye, you two.
Yeah, tell Dildonics on 3.
Science for
I wanna see the change.